Good phones are getting cheap, and Amazon is helping make them even cheaper with its range of Prime exclusive phones. The Alcatel A50 is a new addition to that range, and there are certainly worse ways to spend $100. At first glance, the Alcatel A50 is a pretty run-of-the-mill budget phone. The removable backplate is stylized to look like metal, but it's not fooling anyone, this is plastic through and through. Still, it feels pretty well made. The buttons are nice and clicky, and there's both a headphone jack and USB-C, which is nice to see in this price range. Inside, the A50 is powered by a quad-core MediaTek 6738 processor backed up by 2GB of RAM. There's 16GB of storage available to you by default, but you can expand it by up to 128GB with a microSD card. The 2800 mAh battery is non-removable, but thanks to the power-efficient chipset, it's able to make it through the day without a problem. The A50's 5.2-inch 720p display is unremarkable, and I wish there were a fingerprint sensor like on the similarly priced Moto E4, but Alcatel makes up for it by adding a feature unique to its price point. The company is trying its hand at the modular game with its new snapback covers. No, they're not selling tiny flat brim hats to go on your phone. These snapbacks are optional backplates that replace the stock plastic shell and add new functionality. The light-up snapback flashes its multicolor LEDs for notifications, and other covers add extra battery life or louder speakers. They're not as elegant as Moto mods, but the idea is the same. The A50 runs the older Android version 7.0 with a fairly heavily customized software load on top. Performance is relatively smooth, and while it's not the prettiest UI, it's also not terribly intrusive, and you can at least customize things like icon size in your home screen. With this being a Prime exclusive phone though, there's a lot of Amazon software on board. The A50 comes with over half a dozen preloaded apps from Amazon, and even the lock screen shows ads for products you might want to buy from Amazon. It's annoying, sure, but still, it's a pretty decent trade-off in exchange for a cheaper phone. Even for a cheap phone though, the camera is pretty rough. The 13-megapixel primary sensor produces dull and soft images, even in ideal conditions with lots of natural light. Fine details are pretty much non-existent, and the whole situation gets even worse in low light. Suffice to say, this should not be your go-to camera if you have any other options. Overall though, the A50 is a pretty decent budget phone that could give a lot of people their first taste of modularity. I'd still recommend the Moto E4 over the A50 for most people since it has a fingerprint sensor, cleaner software, and a better camera, but if you're really interested in getting into modularity, there's no option more affordable than Alcatel.